when someone's calling me hot, then call me a hot blind guy. Have at it.
Good evening and welcome to the Attendant podcast.
Hey kids, we're back for more spooky Halloween times. Any announcements? We got them stickers.
We got the stickers.
We're painting the town with them
We are.
illegally.
And a bunch of people have reached out and said, yo, I want stickers. And I was like, you're already getting a sticker or several, so just deal with it.
Yeah, keep an eye on your mailboxes, kids.
Yeah, they come into you very soon.
We're not sending them tracked because that was what's the word? Cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
So just you'll see them.
One of our people wanted to throw money at us for the stickers. And I was like, that's cool and all, but like, just tell your friends about us instead.
Yeah, another person wanted to do the same thing that I spoke with.
Very
but
nice.
that person has not given me their address yet, so they're not getting them either way. Eat
I
shit.
wonder who that is. Also, I don't know if you know this, but I made special address labels
Oh, nice.
with our logo on them. We're pretty cool. We're not putting our return address on them, so they get lost in
that's
the
how I
mail.
mail. That's how I mail drugs when I mail drugs. If you don't,
You mail drugs often?
if you don't put the return address on it, you can't go to jail. Allegedly, in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other big announcements? I'm trying to think of anything that's been blowing up lately. It's Meet the Blind Month still.
Yeah.
So make sure to go out and harass blind people in
Meet your
public.
local blinds.
Yeah. Find a blind guy.
Can we talk about harassing you at work? The people who harassed you at your previous place of work?
Maybe another episode
Okay.
when I have a clearer idea of how much shit I should talk about those folks.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, there's always a moderate amount of like weird interaction going on when you have any otherness to you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you tell someone that you've got a little touch of Mexican in you and they start speaking Spanish at you, yeah?
Yeah.
Hola, what did that mean?
I have had several people throughout my life, just like strangers, because I've worked customer service since I was like 14, usually ask me like, are you mixed? What are you? Today at my nail salon.
I mean, it's a nail salon. I mean,
I got asked what my nationality is. I'm like, well,
nationality is a way different question than ethnicity.
It's
like I'm American.
I'm American, yeah. But I knew what she was getting at, so I was like, well. And she asked if my fiance, because apparently my wedding band isn't visible. I don't know. Lives with me, and what his nationality is. And I was like, well, they're American, but I know what you're trying to ask, so I bring the flavor to the relationship. That's basically what I told her, and she laughed.
I mean, you shouldn't ask people that, right?
Yeah, no.
Like one time, I'll tell you about a time that I was accidentally racist.
Oh boy.
You were with me. One time we were we were at a bar and there was a man who very clearly had a British accent.
Mm-hmm.
Like an extremely heavy, like chip to Cheerio, that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, man, where are you from? And I got a nudge, like an elbow boy in the ribs from you.
Mm-hmm.
Only later to find out that the kid was Asian.
I mean, he, like, physically looked.
Well, no, and he told me, too. He's like, my parents are both Korean, I think he said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa.
And I was like, you can't say that. But
right.
I was like, Jordan
like,
didn't know.
Yeah, like if you just walk up to someone who looks vaguely ethnic,
mm-hmm.
black person, Mexican person, Asian person, and say, where are you from? Like,
what are you?
Yeah,
that was always my favorite. What
are you is a
human?
weird jam. I ask that about dogs all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of dog is that?
Like, what's your situation?
Like, oof,
dog?
Nope. Yeah, don't. But yeah, like to ask, like, and it's probably, mild racism, like real racism on my part, to be able to like walk up to a person with like an Australian or British accent and be like, hey, where are you from? And not necessarily be doing that with like an Asian person.
Yeah.
But again, I couldn't see the guy. All I heard was a British accent. And I was like, oh, cool. Are you from
the Cotswolds?
Yeah, like you from what, Devon? Where are you at, boy?
Oh, man.
Turns
I hope
out
no one in the UK is listening to us.
Nah, I got them. I got their back. They got my back. So yeah, that was a weird situation, I guess. In my blindness, kind of put me in a bit of a weird spot, but also probably not appropriate for me to have been asking that question anyway. So
yeah,
lesson learned, 30-year-old me.
Oh, boy.
Oh no, I was 29 at the time. That's excusable.
Yeah.
But yeah, been a solid week. Nothing really going on in the news.
We're not going to talk about the news. This is not a news podcast.
Oh, yeah, but it is a local affairs podcast. A bunch of guys from the state of Michigan had a plot to kidnap the governor. That was weird.
Yeah.
Moving on. Stickers still available.
Yeah. If you want stickers, you let us know.
Shout us out.
Yep.
And social media.
Yes, you can social media
send us an email. Whatever you want to do.
Also with Meet the Blind Month, just like look up like resources and stuff that you have in your area, just to like be aware of them, not to like, seek out a blind, like, hello, I see that you are.
Right. No, there are a ton, like, so in, for our friends in the Indiana zone, Google Bosma Enterprises. They are an organization that really significantly changed my life, and even more significantly, I think, changed my cousin's life in like the assistance they were able to provide in transitioning from being a sighted person to a blind person. They're like an adult learning center or rehabilitation center for blind and visually impaired folks. It's a pretty great place. Search those guys out. Search out Easter Seals Crossroads. They're a good one for Indiana. A lot of states with the major cities like your Detroits, your Chicagos, your Atlantas have an organization, Lighthouse for the Blind. There are a bunch of cool just blind orgs, or just find out where your local National Federation of the Blind chapter is and see if they're up to anything neat in your area. But yeah, as far as the Indiana folks go, because I know we've probably got a solid chunk of our listeners are in Indiana still, right?
Yeah, I would say like throughout Indiana, Wisconsin, other places in the world. We have our Canadian friends. We have our Irish friends.
We're all over the world.
Yeah, we are. We have our Australian friends.
Yeah. Do you have any other announcements or anything?
I don't think so.
This episode's brought to you by my iced coffee. I'm not going to jingle jangle it this time.
Why?
But here.
You have to. Nope, it's on the table.
I don't want to. I don't want to be the obnoxious every week. Yeah.
Tim Hortons
for dinner, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee at 8:30 p.m. Mm-hmm. Like it ain't no thing.
Even me, you guys. Even the old lady.
Yeah. We have zero plans for tomorrow, so...
Yeah. We might do some podcast stuff.
Yeah, we're probably going to do some podcast stuff, so...
Might watch some... Oh, my God. Our basement is haunted. I just saw... So there's like a full-length mirror over off to your left, like leaning up against my like craft bin.
Yeah.
And it just moved, and then I remembered Frisco's laying right
Oh, God damn. Yeah.
We're haunted. It's fine.
We've been on the spooky train a little bit. So we did some spooky Nick Cage earlier on. And we did a spooky Nick Cage for this episode, but we did a scary movie last night.
Oh, man.
Called One Bedroom. Check it out. It's on Netflix. It'll scare the shit out of you. I would recommend not watching it if you have problems with self-harm or like abusive dynamic, like relationship stuff. Don't watch it. But otherwise, if you're into just
gore of any kind.
Oh yeah,
it's
it's
like
like
you're not a gory.
Yeah, it's like torture, gore, abusive relationship, and self harm. Like, and if any of those would pretty negatively affect your life, go ahead and skip it. Otherwise, watch it and still get really upset about it.
There's no AD.
Yeah, no AD, but
I think I was on the good AD train last night.
You were hitting. There were a couple times where I had to like punch you in the ribs.
Yes.
Get your attention.
Yes.
Which is
I
like
just got so into it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like with that movie and with the Wicker Man, which there you go. We watch Wicker Man.
Oh, Wicker Man. That's the name of the movie.
Yep. In both cases, the music I think was really good.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I noticed for the Wicker Man. So Wicker Man.
Okay, we're just gonna jump into that.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my turn.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
What the shit? What was the
last one was next? Was it yours?
I don't remember. I mean, let's just share this one.
Okay.
So
it's fine by me.
So I was just really thrilled to say that this one also opened in a diner. So I was like racing towards it.
Oh my God, yes.
This one opened in a diner as well.
Yes. No martinis to be found.
Yeah, no martinis, just a regular diner. Our main character, who throughout the movie actually believed his name was Frank again.
Oh my God, for the longest time. Well, because
in the previous movie, his name was Frank.
But when we were picking movies, we read a lot of the synopsis. Yes. Yeah. And in like half the movies, his name is Frank. He's either Joe, Frank, John. Like those are his names.
Or what's his name in Gone in 60 Seconds? Something dumb.
Oh, Memphis.
Yeah. Like that one's pretty out there.
Memphis
or
Reigns.
Castor.
Oh yeah.
In Face Off.
He's not often Castor.
Right. So he is a police officer. And one of the first things we see is him listening to an audiobook called Everything's Okay, which, for the record, I don't think this movie was made in 2020, but everything is not okay.
Yeah, no.
We're not a current affairs podcast or anything, but memo, everything not currently okay. In particular, things related to police. Not very okay.
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting audiobook that he was reading. So the diner, I don't know if the diner, like, what's the deal? I've noticed with like a not insignificant chunk of movies open with the folks just chilling like in restaurant. And that's always like the like setting up of the movie. It's really strange. And I don't know if it's like some storytelling device that is just like overused or what, but
well, I mean, in Next they go back to the diner and like the diner's like actually
like a key point. Yeah.
But in this one, it's just a way to
open
it. Yeah.
So then he goes, hits the road, and he is a motorcycle cop.
Motor cop,
which is pretty cool. Like honestly, if I was ever gonna be a cop for no reason, top 3 cop to be. Doesn't include driving in a car. You got number 1, horse cop. Horse cop is cool cop.
Horse cop is best cop.
Number 2, bicycle cop.
Yes.
Those guys, pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then number 3, motorcycle cop, of course.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's helicopter cop. Hella police officer.
I'm a hella police officer.
Yeah. Do they exclusively are there guys that are only? I'm in a helicopter?
I
don't know. If you're a cop and listen to this podcast, write in and tell us. And also, after listening to this episode in full, you'll probably stop listening.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, those are the top cops.
Top cops.
Well, behind Kamala Harris. But, so yeah, he's a motorcycle cop. And we're riding along with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, this stuff, even without audio description, was all mildly clear to me what we were getting. And then he sees a vehicle drive by, specifically a station wagon, and a doll is thrown from the vehicle. Yes. So he pulls this car over and basically starts immediately chastising someone else's child, which is not the job of the police. Like, don't tell me how to parent. But so he gives the doll back to the kid or whatever, and then the car's immediately struck by a semi.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of foreshadowing of like a bunch of really fast semis coming down the road.
Yeah, so like that's kind of one vibe this whole movie hits on. And it's actually, they do a really good job with the audio of it. Like if this did have audio description, it would have been a pretty good movie. Just like not to like preempt my rating or anything, but the like audio environment and landscape they create is a good one, I think.
Yeah.
But it's pretty consistent throughout the movie. Once every 5 to 10 minutes, you just hear like the vehicle sound come flashing by, and I imagine he's visually hallucinating a vehicle just driving through his vision as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So semi crashes into this station wagon, and he attempts to rescue the young girl inside and her mother, but the little girl's just being, a dumb kid and won't like move towards the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just cuts right there, right? To like months later.
Yeah, so like he gets to like the back of the vehicle, this vehicle that's on fire, and like uses his helmet to like bash it in, and he tries to like get her to like reach to him, and she's just like, I'm just gonna stare at you.
I'll take a old pass on.
Yeah, and then it explodes and like sends him into the street.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to however many months later.
Yeah.
And he's like on administrative leave.
Recovering from his, horrific just saw car accident ordeal.
Yes.
And then it's explained to us via a conversation with him and another cop that basically that car wasn't registered and that they didn't find bodies inside of it.
Yeah.
So, like, there was some strangeness afoot. Cut to Nick Cage, also known as Edward.
Oh, yeah, that's his name.
Malloy?
No, it starts with an M, but I don't remember. They say his last name 100 times in this film.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is either.
Malus.
Oh, yeah, Malus or...
I don't know.
I thought it was Malloy, but either way, his name in the... So this is a remake of a film from 1972 or 3.
I think it's 3.
And the character that he's playing, his name in the 1973 version is Edward Woodward, which just sounds gross. So they switched it to Edward Malloy or Malus, maybe? Oh, yes. I remember specifically that it's Malus because I was reading some up on about this film. Malus is a...
So I'm going to go ahead and stop you here. The actor's name is Edward Woodward in the old one.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still a bad name. Either way.
Christopher Lee is in it.
Oh, we should watch it probably.
We need to watch it.
Okay, so sorry, I just coughed while trying to tell you that the I'll jump ahead on some trivia. Malus is a like mashup of the words male and phallus.
Phallic symbol.
Which, yeah, weird things happen throughout this movie to do with like sex, sexuality. What's the the phallic and Vulpix?
What? Vulpix, like the Pokemon?
No, like the symbology, phallic and the other one.
Oh, Yonic?
Yeah, Vulpix.
You're thinking vulva and also a Pokemon.
Yes, that. Okay, so jump to Nick Cage gets a letter from his estranged ex-fiance saying, "Hey, I've got a daughter and she's missing. I'm living on this place called Summer's Isle. Please send help," basically. But while he's talking to one of his pals about it, he realizes there's no like stamp on it. So it didn't come via the post. It just appeared somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like basically, so everything from now to the beginning is all just like set up for where the whole movie takes place, which is Summer's Isle.
Mm-hmm.
So jump to Nick Cage in a town adjacent to Summer's Isle, trying to figure out how to get to the island. And he talks a pilot into taking him out there.
Hold on, I need to go back.
Oh, did I skip something?
Yeah. So when he's telling his buddy about it, his buddy says, "Oh, the plot thickens. I didn't even know you had a plot."
Yeah, like there's some weird like conversational shit, but
oh man. So how he gets to Summer's Isle is via a plane, but he goes up to a pilot and says, "Ahoy there." And the pilot looks at him weird, and he's like, "I didn't really know what to say."
Yeah. How about hi, he says?
Yeah.
But no, so when I first heard that, I thought that he was going up to someone with a boat. Like, that would make sense. To get to an island, you take a boat. So I thought it made sense. And then you told me that it was a plane, which is why
it was so funny.
Yeah. So he basically has to like sneak onto the island. Right? Because the pilot keeps saying, I can't take you out there. They're super private or whatever. Which, fine. I get,
He's like, I could basically swim there. And the pilot's like, all right,
Go ahead.
better start.
Yeah. But, so yeah, when he arrives on the island, he just kind of just walks into the little village they have, right?
Yeah. So, like, he gets dropped off in, like, the wildernessy area.
So is it a seaplane? Or
yes.
Is it, okay. Have you been on a seaplane ever?
I have never.
Woof. I'll tell you, they are so crazy. It's really weird because, like, imagine being in a boat, right? So you're in a boat because you're on the water, okay?
Yes.
Imagine going so fast on a boat that you just take off and fly. Like, that's what, like, it's really, really wild. So yeah, he arrives on the island and just starts kind of ambling through the village, right? And encounters the first, like, villagers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these folks have a bag that's, like, dripping red.
Mm-hmm.
We never learn what's inside that bag.
I don't think so.
They let him look, and then the scene cuts.
Yeah. Like, they let him look, and, like, it, like, wiggles, because it's, like, some kind of animal or something. But, and he's, like, Mr., like, tough cop guy. This is, like, his attitude the whole time he's on there.
Oh, yeah, he is very rude.
Yeah, he's super, like, he's completely out of his jurisdiction in general, because this island is off of Washington.
Okay, yeah.
And he's a police officer from California.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like Mr. Asshole Cop guy.
Yeah.
And so
I just saw in my notes, this is the moment where you realize his name's not Frank. So you made it this far into the movie thinking his name's Frank.
You know what? That's not terrible.
That's not bad.
I'm cool. So yeah, and he like holds up the photo of the girl that's missing and says, "Hey, have you seen this girl?" And they're all like, "Nope, nope, nope." And he's like, "It would help if you actually looked at the photo." Because like one of the women out of the three looks at the photo. And I just thought it was funny that like I saw them not looking and I wasn't sure if he was going to address it. But yeah, he basically like walks in and like tries to take charge of the whole situation and no one's having it.
It's like it's the Tom Segura bit where he's like, if I'm walking down the street and someone tries to come up and talk to me, I'm not into it at all. I don't need to hear like what you're trying to sell me or what you're trying to say at all. And he's like, the other day I was walking and this guy came up and said, "Hey man," and I said, "Nope." And the guy said, "I just wanted to know what time it was." And he said, "I only tell my friends what time it is." It's so good. But like just like saying no to someone before you have any idea what they're even like coming at you about. Mm-hmm. Like those people were totally like disinterested before he even said anything.
Oh yeah.
Which it was already clear to me that this was just very like cult stuff.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like I have in my notes, oh great, cult bullshit again. Like because I feel like we've watched a good handful of like cult related stuff lately. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, I didn't read that article that I mentioned to you earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I need to. But, like, Apple wants me to pay for their news, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll just, like, Google it or ask Tony how to read it.
Yeah. But no, we've been watching The Vow lately, which is about the NXIVM cult.
Mm-hmm. If you guys don't know what that is, that's a whole bag of worms.
Yeah, go check it out. Keith Raniere was a weirdo.
Still is, probably.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is now, but
it's on HBO, by the way. No audio description, but it's a documentary.
Yeah.
No offense.
Documentaries are notoriously like easier to digest, like with no audio description, because the only thing the audio description typically is there to describe with a documentary is there's a person sitting in a chair. Like there's not much to it. Mm-hmm. But I do see in my notes, speaking of blind shit, that about right here is where we get introduced to two blind characters in this film.
Almost.
Oh, what did
he goes to the inn.
Oh yeah,
to get a room, but he like makes a huge scene there.
Yeah,
like he's continuing
so
to be just like
this whole
just
movie.
The worst.
Yeah,
and he like takes his badge and just like taps it on.
Don't bang on your mic like that. Come on.
I didn't bang on the mic.
Would you bang on the mic stand?
No, I banged on my computer.
Oh, yeah, it like echoes all the way through your mic stand. It's so crazy sounding.
You're not my mother.
But yeah, he's super rude this whole fucking...
Yeah, and he like turns around. He's like, there's a missing girl, and I'm going to find this missing girl, and I'm going to talk to each and every one of you. And you notice that like there are no men. Like it's a theme through this whole thing that there are really like any men. Like they don't talk. They are all like in servant roles. So it's all like mostly women.
They call each other like sister, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like Sister Thorn and Sister Rose. They're all like tree and plant related. So there's like Sister Willow and all that stuff. So he like makes a huge scene, but he finds the woman, his estranged ex-fiance there at the inn, and they like plan for this secret meeting later because she can't like, because everyone is just like talking to him like he's stupid and like that there's no child, or they're like the child is like gone but not dead. So they have this like secret meeting in the woods, and like she had grown up there. Her name is Willow. Yeah. So Willow Woodward. She like talks about how she grew up there, and that like when she had escaped and when she was with him, that like things were really great, but like she knew she needed to like come home and like start over and stuff, but she doesn't trust any of these people, so like don't trust anything that they say. And I'm just like, bitch, you grew up here, like don't trust these people. Like why would you live somewhere where you don't trust the people?
Right. And honestly, like I get the whole like, oh, I can't escape type vibe, but Nick Cage's earlier assertion that you could basically swim there. If I can basically swim there under normal conditions, I can definitely swim somewhere under I'm escaping a cult situations.
Yeah.
But
then we meet the blind twins.
Oh, yeah. So then we cut to like a group of the like village residents just talking shit. And
the Wicker Man returns tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Like saying some clearly like culty stuff. And we have a pair of blind twins who can like, they speak everything in unison, real like creepy chanty like. And I looked these actresses up, and the same as our guy from Pay the Ghost, they're Canadian.
Oh.
What's with all these Canadians stealing blind roles from blind folks?
I think you should be a blind actor.
Yeah.
You've got great hair for it.
Oh, I've got a great face. I'm fucking beautiful.
It's true.
We need to turn this Joker into a video podcast. All the middle-aged women would be sweating.
Okay, let's see. What happens next?
Oh,
they have the Wall of the Autumn Queen. So, like, it's very, like, midsummery. And, like, there is, like, a wall of pictures of, like, the little Autumn Queen. So, like, there's a little, like, blonde girl that is, like, the queen of this, like, autumn festival that they do every year, and the last picture is missing. Right.
That's a jam throughout this movie. Not throughout this movie. I mean, the whole vibe is everyone looks the same. Like they're all inbred, basically.
Yeah, like all the little girls are like long blonde hair with like the two braids.
Yeah. So, I mean, he from here he just kind of continues his investigation, right? I mean, it's jumping from. He keeps being told by like each person that he's questioning, he keeps hearing mention of Sister Summer's Isle, and you know that what we're working towards is him speaking to that woman, right?
Yeah.
But he goes and speaks to the school teacher next, right?
Yes, Sister Rose in the schoolhouse.
He talks to her at the schoolhouse, though, right?
Yeah, and he like goes in and makes a huge fucking scene.
Basically kicks in the door and he's like, "What the fuck is up?" Like, very
to all these
aggressive.
children.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, fun fact, I'll hit you with some trivia because I have too much trivia, in fact, for the trivia section.
Okay.
In this scene, there's something, I believe, in Swedish written on the chalkboard behind the teacher.
Probably.
That translates to, "The king has no sting."
I know they were talking shit about men.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is where they say phallic symbol, phallic symbol.
Yeah. Like, the teacher's saying, she's like, and what does that mean, children? And the kids all start chanting phallic symbol, phallic symbol. Like, what the fuck? So super weird vibe. He questions the teacher, shows her the picture. He's like, hey, you know who this child is? And the teacher says,
no.
And then he shows it to all the kids, and they're like, nope. And then he sees an empty desk, and he's like, there's one empty desk and one missing child. Seems like a vibe. Would the kids say that? No?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, did you guys yeet this child?
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he opens. He didn't say any of that stuff. No, he just.
Oh, are you sure?
He just runs. Goddamn, that'd be so good. He runs over to the desk and like opens it, and a bunch of fucking birds come flying out.
Just one.
A bunch of them. It sounded like a bunch of them.
A bunch of one bird comes out.
A bunch of a bird come out. I don't.
And he's like, "Whoa, fam, that's not chill."
Same, yeah. That's a mood. But no, at that point, he like looks at the teacher. I was like, "What the fuck is going? Why you got birds and desks?" And the kids are all like, "Oh, we just put it in there to see how long it would survive."
Hey, man, that's science.
And he's like super shitty with the teacher. Like, why would you let them do this? And I don't think we ever get an answer from the teacher.
No.
She's just like, it's fine.
And then he moves on and he's like, whoa, where's your attendance list? Because have we talked about what the girl's name is? Because I love her name so much. Rowan.
Yeah, super cool.
I love it. Rowan Woodward.
Yes.
Rowan.
Yeah.
So he's like, I want to see your attendance records. And he can like basically do whatever he wants because
he thinks he has the
ultimate authority. Yeah. We know that it's Sister Summersile that has the ultimate authority. But then the teacher's like, okay, like, let's take this outside. Or he did. I don't know. One of them decided to be like an intelligent adult and take it outside to like chat about what's happening. And the school teacher ends up saying like, she's not missing. She's just not here. She's like,
no, she says she doesn't exist.
She doesn't exist. Yeah. Like her mom is just grieving. And she says she'll burn to death. And he's like, what? And she's like, I said what I said. She burned to death.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty direct admission of murder in progress / planned murder / something's the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. So something's the fuck up.
So from here, Nick Cage essentially tries to question everyone in town, and everyone in town tells him to fuck off.
Yeah.
Which is what you should say to cops that don't have warrants.
Correct.
Listen, come back when you got a warrant.
Yeah.
That's a vibe.
So he goes back to Willow and is like, yo, WTF. And she's like, oops, she's our daughter. She just slips that into conversation.
Okay. This is for all the former girlfriends and partners that I've had. If we've got a kid, just shoot me a text. Because, like, I need to know, man. Like, you can't just leave that floating out there and only tell me when there's an emergency with the child. Yeah,
because he had like asked her earlier in the movie, and his friend asked him the same question, like, why doesn't she just get the dad involved? I'm thinking, duh, obviously he is the dad.
Okay, this is the same friend. Keep in mind, this is the same friend at the beginning. He's like, you should probably just blow her off.
Yeah.
Like, what? This is clearly someone desperately asking you for help. Like, just...
Hey, man, some cops are different.
It's good. I wrote an acronym in my notes at that point. So.
Oh, boy.
But, yeah, so at this point we find out, oh, boy, it's Nick Cage's daughter. So now, in addition to, like, standard angry cop motivation, now we've got standard angry cop, angry dad motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So he is tearing this town apart.
Yeah. He
steals a bike.
He sees that's way later.
That's so much later.
Calm down. He sees the plane come again.
Yeah.
And he like swims out to it.
Yeah, because he wants to use the radio to ask for more cops.
Yeah, and he gets out there and the radio is destroyed.
So here's a fact. This scene has a continuity error.
Oh.
Yeah. So in this scene, he, swims, takes off his boxies or takes off his pants, and he's in his boxies and his shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Swims out, comes back soaking wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see him a couple seconds later with all his clothes on.
Yeah.
And the clothes aren't wet.
They're not wet? I just figured like he just put his dry clothes over his wet clothes like a weirdo.
Well, if you put your dry clothes over your wet clothes, your dry clothes will become wet.
Yeah, but they're like really dark, so it's harder to tell like if dark stuff is wet.
You just need to do it. It'll look like you peed your pants.
You're not cool unless you pee your pants.
Yeah, true. Oh my God. We watched fucking Hubie Halloween. That movie was hilarious.
It was really funny. If you're into Adam Sandler,
give it a try.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's
absolutely
so stupid.
Dumb bullshit. Like, it's not like, it's not, highbrow comedy.
No.
It's gutter trash. But
Definitely.
I thought there were a bunch of really funny moments in it, and it's described, so eat shit.
So I could fall asleep during it.
But, yeah.
Also, you talked about that one actress. You're like, I'd recognize her voice anywhere.
In
Hubie Halloween.
Yeah. The blonde from Modern Family. Give me a break. Come on. Come at me, bro.
Anyway, so yeah, the radio's destroyed. He goes to visit the doctor that's on the island, Dr. Moss. Yeah. Because, trees and stuff.
Yeah, they all have the moss, rose, willow, plant-related names. And we see, what's the other lady's name?
Which one?
The barkeeper, the barmaiden.
Oh.
It's like Basil or something.
Rosemary.
It's something with a B. Yeah, either way, they're all plant-related names. So he goes to Dr. Moss. What's Dr. Moss tell him?
Dr. Moss is just like, hey, why don't you just fucking chill? And he's like, oh, I'm not going to fucking chill. And then she has to go because the weird beekeepers come with their weird beekeeper costumes.
Yeah, so these are like ye olden-timey beekeeper costumes.
And I didn't even have to like describe them very much. And Jordan's like, that sounds like a beekeeper costume. And I was just like, whoa. I don't know anything about beekeepers.
Yeah, so like current day beekeeper costumes are like if you wear a big flat disc on your head, like on the very top of your head, and then a net comes down from there. That's what the helmet looks like. These look like you've got a hoodie with the hood up and pulled tight, and then just a little screen over that part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's all scrunched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's like a screen over the scrunch part.
Yep.
Yeah. So he breaks into the doctor's place.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like my microphone's weird. Oh, get in here. Yeah, he breaks into the doctor's place and is basically like looking around. There are a lot of fetuses in jars, like at different points of gestation, which is very strange. He also learns that she's the photographer on the island as well.
Yeah, and he asks her about the missing photo from the bar that he was in earlier. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I'll get you a copy. No worries.
Yeah, I've got the negative. But then he goes snooping around and he finds that she actually has a copy of it, and it's Rowan. And apparently...
It's our missing child.
Yeah.
She had been elected queen the previous year.
Yes. And apparently there was like a note that said like, worst harvest on record. So like he's thinking she's going to be like sacrificed because when she was the little autumn queen, the crops were shit. So she has to pay for it essentially. And then we get the beehive scene.
Yeah, is he just wandering through the woods or running from something?
I don't know. I don't remember if he was just being nosy cop boy.
He bonks his head on a beehive, right?
Yeah.
And we got like an impression. Oh, he like smashed a bee with his hand early on in the film. Mm-hmm. And someone said, why would you go and do something like that? And he tells us that he's allergic to bees.
And he pulls EpiPens out of his bag.
Makes it clear, like, not just kind of allergic, but EpiPen allergic. Mm-hmm. So at this point, he bonks his head on a beehive and just dead, all out sprinting, running from bees, right?
Yeah.
And I forget, I'm really bad with some of these in remembering, like, what happens when. Does he get stung here?
Yes.
Enough to pass out?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So he gets stung here enough to pass out. And he is brought back to Dr. Moss's office.
Yeah.
Where he's told that he basically almost died via bee stings and was brought back to life.
In the old way.
Yeah. Which, unclear what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But probably a lot of violence against him, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of really weird, like, male-female dynamic going on in this.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite lines is coming up very soon.
So, that's something that I've noticed in a handful of movies is good guy is either rescued or significantly helped by group of bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've kind of got to question what's up, because why would they not have just let him die there? Because like that's totally like an excusable thing, right? Like if you're nosing around my house and then you leave my house and get hit at a crosswalk, like problem solved, right? Like so I think at this point he kind of is unsure where they all stand. But where do we go from here? I forget.
He gets to meet Sister Summersile.
Oh yeah. He goes and has a little sit down chit chat with her.
Yeah. And this is when he like finally notices like the men are like they don't like talk.
They don't speak at all.
But they just like they move about and do things. So he's just like, and he seems to have a problem with that. And I don't remember what he said, but her rebuttal was, "We love our men. We just aren't subservient to them." And that was just, it's a good one.
Yeah. Doesn't she say something else about them being quiet though?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, here's where he gets very like standoffish with her, right?
Yeah.
And like screams in her face basically.
Yeah.
It's like, I fucking know this kid is here. Like why what are you doing?
This is when things start to really go off the rails.
The beginning of the spiral, right?
Yeah.
From here, he goes and breaks into a mystery tomb.
Yeah, the crypt that they had seen. They'd seen it earlier in the film, and he's like, there's like a new lock on this.
Yeah, like a brand new padlock, yeah.
I was like, very good job, Mr. Cop Detective.
Yeah, so he breaks into that, which, again, no warrant, bad cop. Goes down in this crypt and is just nose-assing around and sees like a sculpture of Christ. And then someone slams the tomb shut.
Well, he goes down there because he fishes out the cardigan that Rowan was wearing.
Yeah, and it's got her initials on it.
Yeah.
So someone slams it shut, and it's like halfway flooded, right?
Yeah.
So what do they do when they slam it shut? Is it like, are they trying to like lock him in there, or are they trying to kill him, or like what's?
I think they're just trying to like trap him in there.
Okay.
Because like he's not gonna drown or anything.
It's not enough water to be like a...
I mean, it is. I mean, depending on who you are, a puddle's enough water. But,
yeah.
There's enough. Oh, goodness.
Drink that coffee,
old
dog.
Lady. It's almost gone. It's seriously like there's like an inch and a half of coffee left, and it's probably mostly water.
Jesus.
So, like, he just kind of hangs out with like his arms like over the bars of the thing. And he gets rescued like the next day.
Oh, okay.
By what's her face? By Willow.
Okay. From here he goes out to the dock, right? Where he sees what he thinks is her and dives in to like save the girl, but it's a hallucination the whole time, which happens over and over again. We get these like bits of him hallucinating, right? Like semis or
he
like
kind of
flashes
like,
of
he goes
the girl.
Nuts and goes back to Sister Summersile's house before that.
Okay.
And he like charges through her house and like goes into all these different rooms, and there's a guy who like kind of looks like he's been like inbred, and he's like naked in a bed. You don't see anything. And then there's like another room where a naked woman is just sitting on a chair just covered in bees, not like being stung or anything, just like covered in bees. And
that's
he starts
thing,
like,
right?
What?
That's someone's thing.
Oh, yeah. He starts like taking masks off of kids because like they're starting this festival.
Right. Where they all wear the mask.
Yeah. And they all have like animal masks and stuff on.
You missed a thing.
Oh, boy.
he gets permission from Sister Summersisle or the doctor, I can't remember which one, to dig up the grave that...
Oh, yeah, he gets permission from Sister Summersisle.
Yeah, because so he's told, like, oh, she's dead. The child you're looking for is dead. Her grave is here. And he gets permission from her to dig it up. And he just goes out there casually, like, shovels up this grave and finds a doll inside that's, like, burned up doll.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, okay. If I, like, burned, like, if this house caught on fire and I burned to death, like, what really would be all that recoverable? Like, would...
Yeah.
Like, would there be a lot
Like, it's
left?
very deliberate.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out if, like, they just left that as, like, a representation because there was... You'd think maybe there's not anything left because he was told that she burned or would burn.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unclear to me whether she was already dead or they were, like, threatening to burn her. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, festival starting. Nick Cage ripping off the masks of the kids. And then...
This is when he goes down by the dock.
Oh, yeah, and rescues, like, what he thinks is the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a hallucination all along.
Yeah.
And he, like... What's he say? He comes back up on the dock after, like, the fake rescue thing. And... What'd he say?
Well, I mean...
He's just like, God damn it. Like...
Oh... I don't...
Yeah.
He was being bothered by something, like if it was a bee or something, and he just gets so frustrated. I laughed so hard. But this is when he finds the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
On the beach.
Yeah, and the pilot... So, like, this gave me another, like, Midsummer vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the pilot's eyes are just, like, X's.
Yeah.
Like, gouged out of his head.
Yeah. They're, like, carved out with, like, carved X's over his eyes.
Yeah. Which, you know...
You win some, you lose some.
Well, and you would think that if I'm a cult of, like, people trying not to be caught for crimes, if I've got, like, 50 people, I can do a pretty good job of hiding a body. Like, if we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, why just leave him out there? Like, that was such a
That was deliberate. That was very deliberate.
Right. But at the same time, with any chance or possibility that Nick Cage is going to escape, like, to have that, like, direct knowledge of, like, them having murdered the pilot isn't necessarily a good thing. So, like, even to do it as, like, a threat or whatever, like, kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I guess it was probably just, like, symbolic and, like, ritualistic for them, right? For someone that betrayed them. Because the pilot essentially was the one that betrayed them by bringing Nick Cage to the island. Mm-hmm. So from here, we go straight to festival times, right?
Yeah, like they do a big parade where, like, everyone is, like, in their animal masks.
This was just, the whole time I was getting Midsummer, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
Just not as pretty and well filmed as Midsummer,
yeah.
So, at a point, they bring out the daughter.
Yep. So the little girl is tied up.
Here's, like, the first time that we actually see her.
Yeah.
We've been seeing the picture of her over and over again, but not, like... We don't get direct, like, even, like, in flashbacks or anything.
Yeah, he starts seeing her in the flashback, so he's thinking that, like, the little girl that he tried to save, who may or may not have existed, was actually her.
Right.
But yeah, we finally see her. She's tied up.
And they're straight, like, getting a pyre ready, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We are ready
so he, like, runs through the whole parade.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, goes and unties her and, like, kicks the shit out of people. And
we straight up go from Wicker Man to John Wick.
Oh.
But really, I mean, he's straight up, like, martial arting people, right? Like, kicking people in the head. Just, like, finally he gets the girl, right?
Yep. And so, like, they're escaping in the woods. And I'm thinking, like, where the fuck are they going to go? Like, the pilot is dead.
Mm-hmm. Like, the option here is honestly to swim with a, 8-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
More, like, 3+ miles?
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's not a thing. So then he realizes that his phone has started to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's running from a group of people.
Yeah.
30+ people are chasing him, yeah?
Yeah.
And he thinks that it is, at this point, the best option to start screaming as loud as he can into his phone.
Yep.
Just Summer's Isle over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the only thing I can think of for that is he wants a subsequent investigation once he comes up missing. it's not necessarily about saving his own life at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm fucked either way, so let me scream this into my phone a bunch.
Yeah.
But if I'm being chased, I'm at least kind of like trying to like whisper it.
So
like,
there's actually like only like 5 or 6 people chasing them.
okay, I thought it was like half the community.
No. Summer's Isle like sends a few people after them.
Okay.
And the girl ends up taking over and like leading him. And
okay.
you know, like
because she's familiar with the
right. Yeah. But then she leads him straight into the parade of people who are just waiting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you assume she's been conditioned to like, you know, be in on this.
Yeah.
Jam,
So
right?
so she runs to her mom and is like, "Did I do great, Mommy?" And she's like, "Yeah, you did perfect." So it was like a trap the whole time.
Here's where we get the twist. Whoa, this whole thing was just a bit and a ruse to get Nick Cage to come to the island so they could sacrifice him.
Yeah, and all the other shit was just like especially psychological.
Yeah, just having a little fuck about.
Like they could have easily just like incapacitated him as soon as he got to the island.
Right.
But they're just like, "No, let's fuck with him for a few days."
Right. So the blind women pop up here again.
Oh yeah.
And they start doing like more chanting stuff, which it was fine. It didn't really add anything for me.
Yeah.
But it was fine. And do they capture him directly at this point?
Yeah.
So they've already got him.
Yeah.
Okay. And does he escape like fairly quickly?
He doesn't escape.
Okay, sorry. I have a weird misplaced note that made me misremember how like the order of the events here. So earlier on, like I think this happens before the parade even.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not running from anyone or anything, but he steals that school teacher's bike.
Yeah.
And she says, "You don't have my permission to do that." And he says, "You have my permission to stay the fuck out of my way." I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't necessarily like the cop does whatever he wants jam going on here, but like that line hit me for some reason. So at this point, they sacrifice Nick Cage, end of movie, right?
Whoa. So there's a big wicker man that they like haul him to the top of, that's full of like cages that have like goats and different animals and stuff in them.
So they kept saying, or like maybe 2 scenes they talked about the wicker man is coming earlier on in the film. So this is that wicker man.
Yeah.
It's not an actual man, it's a structure they've built to do sacrifices.
Yeah.
So they put him in the head. They've got goats in the chest area and the arms and legs, or they've got other animals in there. And then they light
the
it
little
up.
girl lights it up.
Yeah.
She throws the torch and lights it up, and he just screams the whole time.
And that's about it, right? I mean,
they kept chanting, "The drone must die. The drone must die."
Right. Which, so this whole thing, and it seems like the cult is structured around like bees and beekeeping, and the men are seemingly like the drones, right? So yeah, the drone must die, chant, chant, chant. And then we get a jump to 6 months later, where the lady who was the mother of the missing girl and another girl from the cult are at a bar, and they're hitting on some dudes, clearly trying to lure them into the
James Franco and Jason Ritter.
Is it Jason Ritter?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was the other Franco brother.
No, he was too young.
Oh.
Yeah, and they talk about like how James Franco just like finished at the police academy.
Yeah.
So they're like setting up the next Wicker Man sitch.
Yeah. Which, so earlier on, the other lady that's part of the seduction team asked Nick Cage, "When you leave, can you take me with you?" And one of the women asks James
it's the
Franco
same woman.
that. Okay, yeah, she asked James Franco that, when you leave, will you take me with you?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there we go, luring him back.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought it was fine.
There's also a dedication.
Oh,
it said it was for Joey Ramone in the credits.
was it Joey or Johnny?
Johnny, you were right.
Johnny. So I'll just jump straight to my trivia fact out of order because it's directly related to that.
That's fine. Please do.
Johnny Ramone was the person that introduced Nicolas Cage to the original Wicker Man.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's why the dedication is there.
That's neato.
Yeah, I thought it was fairly cool, neat.
Yeah. Oh, BT Dubs, we didn't talk about this. We watched it on Amazon. We rented it for $2 whole.
Yeah, we paid fucking money for no audio description.
Mm-hmm.
Really obnoxious, but whatever. We were in the mood for some spooky Nick Cage. If you have spooky Nick Cage recommendations, shoot them our way, and we will definitely watch them.
So we got the facts. We didn't talk about if he was hot Nick Cage or gross Nick Cage.
Which was he?
Body wise, pretty attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Personality wise, no.
Oh yeah, he's a cop.
Yeah.
Do you know about cops?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the time period in which it was filmed?
By mistake, I do.
Damn it, Jordan.
Well, no. So I had preempted it. Like, I actually considered when I thought it was from before making that mistake. So I thought it was from 2013.
Okay.
Like, that was my initial, like, roundabouts there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's when it kind of became like a meme, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the scenes. But it's from 2006.
Yeah, he had a flip phone.
Okay, yeah, that might have given it away, but
yeah, I specifically did not say anything about his flip phone. Yeah.
So yeah, I grabbed that when I was looking up like fun trivia stuff. There's a lot of trivia about like how this relates to the 1973 version and like different choices they made and stuff. And you know, some of it's boring, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seemed like the neatest fact was the why it was dedicated to Johnny Ramone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard because seems like between this one and the Skull Rider, what the fuck is it called?
Ghost Rider. Skull Rider.
And
that's a topic for another episode.
And the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Like those are like the three Universal movies where when you mention Nick Cage to someone or mention that like we have this podcast, people are like, "Oh, did you watch X, Y, or Z yet? Like, it's so bad." Like, I didn't think this was that bad.
Right? I didn't either.
I thought it was fine.
Okay, so that brings us to the awards and stuff.
Yeah.
The only awards that it was nominated for that was like a serious one was the Canadian Society of Cinematographer Award, and it won Best Cinematography in a Theatrical Feature. Otherwise, it was nominated for Golden Schmoes, Razzies, and The Stinkers.
Yeah.
It won Worst Remake.
Are we stupid? Like, are we bad at watching movies?
Because I don't think so.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was that bad.
No.
Like, I think there are so many worse movies I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a ton.
Yeah. I didn't think this one was terrible. I mean, I haven't seen the original, but I already know, like, I just don't like older films. Like, you can at me for it. I don't care, but, like, I just don't like older films, so I already, like, assume that I'm not going to like this one. But, like, I don't know. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's just Nick. Maybe I'm just, like, now so indoctrinated into the Church of Nick Cage.
Yeah. I give it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Damn, dog.
How are we like this?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've got a similar sensibility for most movies. The quirkier stuff that I like, you're not necessarily into. And the quirkier stuff that you like, I'm not necessarily into.
I feel like there are a lot more like mainstream things that I'm into that you're just not into. Like you're more of like the quirky, independent, weirdo films, and I'm like, let's watch another
Fast and the Furious.
It's
all about family.
Listen, I love Fast and the Furious. I will die on that now. IMDb rating.
Like a 4.8.
3.7.
Oof, boy.
Yeah.
That's a rough go.
Yeah.
Not surprising though, I guess, for just how like universally hated it was.
Yeah.
I did find out in the trivia thing that there was an alternate ending where instead of the burn him in the Wicker Man thing, they put his legs in these like cages, I guess, which we should look up like the alternate version, because I guess there's an unrated version that's a lot more like violent.
Okay.
But they like put these cages over his legs and then put a bee hat on him.
Is this when he says like not the bees, not the bees?
Apparently, yeah. Tony mentioned a line, not the bees, not the bees, and it must have been a deleted scene or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put a bee hat on him and fill it with bees. Which, if you're allergic to bees,
no bueno.
Handful of stings will knock you right out. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm still just confused about what everyone hated about it, I guess.
Yeah.
It was moderately boring, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
But, yeah. Did we have any questions or anything?
Yeah, so moving on to blind stuff, TM. We've had a couple of questions over the last week or so. So I know in the past we have mentioned voiceover, but someone asked specifically like how it works. So I think we were going to put together kind of like a video, like a, what is it called? Like a screen capture video. Yeah. And post it to our YouTube channel. So check that out in the next like week or so. We're going to be posting a video to just show like basics and stuff. And like, I mean, you can Google it, but like we're way funnier than like whoever you're going to see on a tutorial. So watch our video.
Yeah. You don't want that boring crap.
Yeah. And Jordan will probably like open up his Tinder and show you all the matches and stuff. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Our YouTube channel is at Site Attendant, just like everything else. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're probably going to be posting a lot more there. We're planning on doing like some live episodes, doing like Twitch streamy live episodes in the future, and just posting more like behind the scenes kind of stuff on our YouTube channel. And if you're a big fan of our pets, you'll probably see our pets a lot. So yeah, that was a question.
So yeah, that's coming at you soon.
And then we had another question from a friend, who asked, so I'm just going to say it word for word because I have their permission to talk about it on the podcast. So they messaged me and they said that they were about to make a sassy comment on one of our friends' posts about our podcast. And they were going to comment on the host being a really hot blind guy and a sassy woman. But blind guy doesn't seem like the best way to use people's first language. What would be the best way to say that? And so I had shot Jordan that message because I wasn't going to answer for him. So you want to answer that?
So yeah, there are a few things to this. One is it's all kind of an individual situation, right? Like if you are gay, for example, and someone says makes something that could be like mildly offensive, some people won't necessarily be offended by it. If someone makes some kind of a racial comment, maybe you will, maybe you won't. It's as with everything, very individual. The more harsh a comment becomes, the easier it is to just say, no, don't. That's a hard pass. In this case, this is one of them that is just very mild. And the effort is super appreciated, but for me, with as positive as the overall sentiment of the comment was, I wouldn't have necessarily been super upset.
Yeah, if it was a derogatory comment.
Yeah, some fucking blind guy. That's one thing. But when someone's calling me hot, then call me a hot blind guy. Have at it. But in the event that you want to be as careful as you can, saying person with a visual impairment, hot person with a visual impairment. In my case, yeah. So that's the thing too, is I am a person who has experienced sight loss. People who have congenital blindness aren't people with sight loss.
Right.
So knowing my situation, referring to me as a person with sight loss is a completely A-okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always better to err on the side of caution, but again, as with everything, it just depends on the person. In my case, I'm not necessarily that bothered by like non-people first language because I refer to myself as a blind guy all the time.
In regards to this podcast, like we could say like a blind dude talking about blind stuff a lot.
Right. Yeah. We keep it just fast and loose and
we're flippant
yeah,
about it.
Yeah. And like we're not necessarily edgy folks. We're not going to be out here making like harsh jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally we get a little pointy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're not like edgy gamer boys by any means.
No.
But yeah, I really appreciate like the effort to be as careful as possible. But for the record, if you're going to call me hot or compliment me in any way, you can refer to me as a blind guy.
This guy's vain as fuck.
Oh.
Like the hair.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm going to start a Instagram account just for my hair.
These are the products that I use.
Yeah. So, in general, just push with as much like respect as you can, and I will do my best to judge by what your intent was.
Yeah.
And I know, for the most part, everyone's trying, and it's all love.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, it doesn't have to be Meet the Blind Month. If you're ever like interested in learning more about blind people, just kind of check out, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, just different like resources, different groups and stuff, either local or non-local. So a while back, last December, God, it's almost been a year. Jordan, and we posted about this before with the Harry Potter books. Jordan couldn't find Harry Potter books in Braille that were not like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And I found one on a site called Royal Blind UK.
Mm-hmm.
And they just recently rebranded to like Sight Scotland or Scotland Sight or something like that.
We'll put it in the notes.
Yeah. But they had them for like six GBPs a piece.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Recently or when you purchased them?
When I purchased them.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were that cheap.
Yeah, they were super cheap. And like it was free shipping because it was materials for the blind.
Right.
So, but yeah, and they send out like a monthly newsletter. Just like, and I know it's in Scotland, so, but it's interesting. I mean, especially this year, seeing how like different countries have handled the pandemic, especially in regards to people with disabilities. So yeah, I mean, I signed up for their newsletter, and it just is as easy as that if you want to learn some more stuff.
Yeah, and if you have any questions that like you think I might have a better, very direct answer to, or if your question is like more specific than, something you can find on the internet.
Yeah.
Hit us up. Or if you're just interested in me specifically and how my hair is just so profoundly beautiful.
Yeah, and how hot he is.
That too.
You have really beautiful eyes and beautiful eyelashes.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, any questions, like we constantly banging the drum of hit us up on social media, comments, tweet at us, slide in our DMs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or shoot us an email.
Send us an email, yeah.
Got anything else for the kids?
No, our YouTube channel will be in the show notes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye out for that video of how Jordan uses his voiceover.
All right. Love you. Bye.